chance to say thanks. You can nominate an outstanding public school teacher through iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher. It's powered by Donors Choose. They can receive $5,000 for their classroom and supplies and resources. Nominate now, iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Mark Rosen.
Hello.
You're a fraud.
What is that supposed to do?
I don't know. I just thought that we were supposed to do when you come in noon to 3. Mark Rosen joins us, myself, John Creasel with me on the Tennafitzgerald. We're broadcasting live from Vikings training camp. They're doing some walkthroughs right now. Creasel, you did spot Juwan Jennings off to the side, but I don't see him over there. So maybe he just wanted to be by himself for a little bit.
Yep. And there was no trainers watching him stretch or anything like that. So I don't know if just some of his teammates were gassy on the other field or something. He wanted a little distance from him, but he's one I'm really excited for this year. So don't be hurt, man.
I will say, knock on wood, Rosey, because we're very early and things are going to change. But you look at the NFC North. I talked about this yesterday. The Vikings, health-wise, right now are in the best shape of the four teams. Detroit's been decimated. They got two guys from their secondary that are out, and that's not even including Terry and Arnold, who they lost because of his off-the-field stuff.
To a potential life in prison.
They got their centers hurt. Their backup, their number 2 running back is hurt. Obviously, you got Micah Parsons, who's going to be missing at least a third of the season in Green Bay. Chicago's got some injuries where Kobe Bryant's now out 4 to 6 months. Luther Burden, who could be their number 1 or number 2 wide receiver, got some groin issues. The Vikings so far, other than some little minor stuff day to day, but even those are from minor players, they've been pretty healthy so far.
Well, that's why when people say, well, what do you want to see out of Saturday's game or the following week or whatever, I said, what do I want to see? I want to see guys staying healthy, because we talked about it till I'm out of breath that no one remembers the outcome of these games. It doesn't matter. It matters to the individuals and how they can impress the coaching staff. But as far as results or how, no. I mean, what matters is exactly how you outlined it. I mean, you want to have, that's why many of the starters don't play. Because the durability and the health of these teams is paramount with so much parity in the NFL. And for the Vikings, we've seen it happen by groups. If offensive line guys get hurt, or linebackers get hurt, and whatever the case may be. So, my number one priority as someone watching the game or media member or whatever is saying, I want to see this team leave the field in the same shape that they got on the field. Playing at MetLife Stadium, which is notorious for being a god-awful turf as well, which is, I don't want to jinx anything, but it is. I mean, it's not, they put the grass field over it for the World Cup soccer. Wish they would have left it or kept it somehow, some way, but it's just a different feel. But yeah, I think. Well,
it's funny you say that, because I agree with you and you're 100% correct, but you know as well as I do, Saturday when they take on the New York Giants, and our first-team offense will get a series, and our first-team defense will get a series. We'll get one series of Kyler Murray, assuming they don't go 3-and-out. Then they might get a second series. But if they have a 6, 7, 8, 9 play drive, we'll see one series of that. We'll say one series of our first-teamers on defense, and we will completely overanalyze what happened in that one series on Vikings fan line after the game.
That's on you then, or that's what I'm
not saying me personally.
Well, I'm not saying on
Vikings
you personally either, but
in general.
But
you probably will too.
No, I won't.
You'll see something.
I've seen it.
If they score a touchdown on the first drive, you're gonna be like, I love Kyler Murray.
Super Bowl. No. I've seen too many preseason exhibition games, and I try not. It'd be nice if they had. Of course, you want to go. Listen, that was a crisp drive. That looked good. We'd like to see that happen again. But I'm not going to take that and extrapolate that to this is exactly how they're going to be against Green Bay, because they're holding back like every team does. Mm-hmm. I mean, if anything. They're playing the New York Giants. Normally, the home team is the team that wants to impress their fans. John Harbaugh is the new head coach of the New York Giants. He's coming in there, I'm sure, full of vim and whatever, trying to say, look, I got to make a really good first impression. I don't know if Jackson Dart is going to play more than a series or two. Cam Scatabo, is that Scatabo? What the guy who hurt himself doing backflips? I'm just saying they've had some.
Malik Neighbors is healthy.
And we'll Dart spent more time in the blue tent than he did in the end zone last year. I mean, he's a guy that
he likes to head on collisions.
He does. So
he's a little reckless.
But what I'm saying is, it's normally the Vikings got their one lone preseason game, home game against Baltimore, the following week. that's when you normally want to make a little bit more of a good impression, if you want to use that term. I don't know. I don't think KOC is going to say, listen, we got to make the fans happy.
Oh, their starters ain't going to play in that game.
No, they won't at all. But I'm just saying for Saturday, I would think that the Giants are putting more emphasis on a so-called game plan than the Vikings are. And that's just, we know how vanilla this stuff is going to be. I mean, it's just, and that's okay. It's preseason football. Enjoy it. But don't extrapolate what you're going to see. And I know, yes, overreaction will happen. That's why we have Vikings fan line, no matter what, good and bad. Because some guys will make a really good impression, a special teams guy, some third string, and that's part of the bit. That's why they're trying to make the football team. It's not supposed to. You don't have to poo-poo the whole thing. I'm really not trying to in that context. I'm just saying to try to add that up and say, well, this is the way they're going to look against the Packers on September 13th or whatever that is. No, I mean, because we're going to see a totally different game plan, and that's the fun part. But I'm with the rest of you. I'm very excited to do our little pregame show on Fox 9. I'm very excited to watch the kickoff, and I'm very excited to see Kyler Murray start his first preseason game for the Vikings.
My guess is that's all we're going to see Kyler Murray during preseason, right? Because game 2, because you already have the 2 joint practices before that Ravens game, none of those starters are playing in the Ravens game. And then the third preseason game, let's face it.
Running time.
Yeah, like none of these starters are ever playing. You don't want anyone to get hurt. So I think one series on Saturday is what we're going to see in Kyler Murray in a preseason game.
Yeah, and especially, too, it's not like this is a rookie who needs to get kind of the dress rehearsal feeling of being in an NFL game and how that all works. Kyler's been around a while. There's really not going to be a lot to get him prepped for. All of that prep happens here and inside that building behind Mark Rosen there. But it's still going to be fun to watch. It means we're one step closer to hearing the boom in week 1.
Well, I mean, there was a time when they had 6 preseason games.
Yeah.
Did they used to have 6?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Nuts. When did that end?
I knew they had 4. I didn't remember 6.
Yeah, I think they had 6 early in Bud's tenure here.
That's crazy.
Someone said, you can look it up.
Was that back when they had 14 regular season games?
Yeah, but they had a whole batch, and they would play. They'd play some of them, at like in Sioux Falls or some neutral site games where people would never see NFL football. So, which was really actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Get exposed, playing in Omaha somewhere or Sioux Falls. I mean, it's
River Falls was the Chiefs. The Chiefs had for the longest time, and that was awesome.
Now, when Joe Montana was over there, when he finished up his career, the Vikings used to go over there and hold their practices with the Chiefs, which is really weird to think about them. I guess they wanted to escape the heat, and I really believe that down in KC in that area. So they came up to River Falls for a few years, but that was a big boom to their little summer economy over there as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Much the way Mankato was with the Vikings for all those decades.
Obviously, Kyler Murray named the starting quarterback. We got to hear from J.J. McCarthy yesterday when he talked to the media. Talked to the media. I thought, I think through the first 2 years, there's been some questions about J.J.'s maturity and some of the things he said to the media. I thought yesterday he probably handled that as mature as he could have.
Well, I agree. I don't think there's a lot more. He's not going to throw a hissy fit, and it's just not his. That's just not his style. I don't think that's where he grew up. I don't think that's where he was raised. I think he understands that, he's got a long way to go in his career if he's going to make something out of his career. And we've seen plenty of examples of it. Even though he started early on, and JJ did start early on. I mentioned Baker Mayfield. He mentioned a bunch of other quarterbacks. Look at Daniel Jones. Look at what's going on with Sam Darnold. You've got a long ways to go to define your career. Whether it's going to ultimately be here, and we don't know what the hell's going to happen with Kyler Murray after this season. He's a free agent after this year. I think the one thing that hasn't been talked probably enough about, and KOC mentioned it earlier, and you can cite back to, and I was going to say you can look it up, that JJ turned the ball over 14 times in his 10 career starts a year ago. That's a lot.
We can't have that.
KOC made the point. We are 35-4 when we break even or better on the turnover battle. There's data to tell us we need to build our team a certain way in regards to our quarterback room. So, those stats, you always say, win the turnover battle. We hear it every single week. And those stats are glaring. And I'm sure the Vikings aren't alone with having that gaudy winning stat when you win the turnover battle. That means getting an early lead, having a really good running game, and not making your quarterback, down by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, air it up for you, because you're not going to win that battle often.
We never have a battle turning it over to commercials, because they send a lot of good messages to our listeners on some products and services
Absolutely.
They can use. So let's go to commercial break. Mark Rosen joining myself, Tenna B, and John Kriesel on the Tennafitzgerald. We're live at Vikings training camp. We'll continue to talk Vikings, and also we do have some, I wouldn't say breaking Twins news because it was like an hour ago, but we got some Twins news to talk about. We'll do that next right here on the Fitz.
Minnesota Vikings training camp coverage live from TC.
You want to be at the next big game or concert? We're giving away tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival, Jack White, Motley Crue, plenty more. You can enter today, KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Back to the Welcome back to the Tennafitzgerald. I love that he's so self-deprecating.
Well,
I would never make that joke around anybody else. But
I wish the mics were hot at that time.
No.
Best line I said all day was off the air. John Kriesel with me. That's the voice you hear. Mark Rosen with me as well. We're watching Will Reichert. Usually they're not using this field right next to us, but he's kicking field goals right next to us. Right now it looks like he's at the 20-yard line, so a 30-yard field goal. But there's like stuff behind over here. Like he almost hit those speakers earlier. Like he's going to break something.
There's an ambulance. There's people.
Look, it's going right off. He's probably aiming for. Yeah. There's people walking by. There's an ambulance in case Rosen gets stung by a bee.
And as we were talking about this off air coming out of commercial break, Rosen said, imagine having that talent in your right foot. And Brandon said, imagine having a right foot.
Well, you mentioned, Kreese, as well, that, we, and I know you're using the term, and you're a fan, and that's okay. That's great. We've gone through so many devastating moments with our kickers.
Yeah.
Going back to 98 in particular. But to have a guy like this, and I know Brandon's going to throw cold water on and say, well, wait till we have
we haven't had a big moment yet.
That moment. I mean, we haven't been in that moment.
You know just as much as I do if the Vikings win the NFC Championship this year.
God.
And Will Reichert is kicking to send us to the Super Bowl, you're still going to feel nervous just because of our history, not because of him.
And he's right there. He can hear you, Brandon.
No, it's too windy. He can't hear me. I'm sure he knows.
He does, yeah. I mean, I remember sitting there in New Orleans watching Ryan Longwell warming up on the sideline. Going,
do I need to tell you about 1998, Rose? No, our kicker was perfect.
I did see something on Twitter today. It was someone did an AI-generated video of Favre rolling out and then running out of bounds instead of throwing across his body.
That's
and then it shows Longwell trotting onto the field, and then the video ends.
Please send that to me. Please send that to me.
Well, listen, it's however you want to look at it, and we don't talk about it enough because you don't have to talk about it enough. And you get special teams like that. I know they have a new punter this year with Johnny Hecker, but the Vikings have had some really good kickers, but Reichert is seemingly the best that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And not just his accuracy, but his range. Mm-hmm. And the guy's money. I mean,
he seems to have the right mentality for it too.
He does. Yeah.
Which I think is huge.
We did have a kicker though that had a really good first year. Nailing long distance shots and then missed a 27-yarder.
No, that's true. But there we go.
We also gave up a 5th-round pick for Kari Vedvik and then cut him.
Oh my God!
3 weeks later. Remember that one?
Barely. I'm trying to forget that.
That was one of Spielman's.
The legacy of our kickers. But they're not alone. We're not alone. There's a lot of teams that have suffered the slings and arrows of even guys who've been around for a long time. All of a sudden, they just fall off the map, and you wonder. It's not like a golf swing where you just got that temperament and you have that ease, and you're fundamentally just doing it every single day. And Will doesn't seem to have much of a problem with it. And then he hit the wire. That was the thing last year.
Yes,
that was I think twice. I feel like there was 2 that were missed.
Common and I had him on a week or two ago.
How did he address that?
Yeah, I mean, his agent basically approached the NFL about trying to take that off.
Was that in Europe? No,
yeah, it was
2 years.
Yeah.
Was it the Cleveland game? It was the Cleveland game.
My goodness.
And he says at the time he didn't even realize that it didn't hit the wire. But I'm sure these guys, they can tell at this level when they kick it, they can tell by how they kicked it.
If it's in or not.
It's like in golf, right? Like you sometimes on contact whether that thing's going straight or you slice it off to the right.
one of the things that's really changed in the game, and I'm sure it gives KOC great comfort as well, that they at U.S. Bank, for instance, it used to be, and I remember watching when Tom Dempsey kicked the 60 with a half a foot,
right,
John.
That's a half more than I have.
But he kicked the 63-yard field goal for New Orleans. That was, the fact that he made it was unheard of. They're setting a record.
The motion was different, though. It was like the straight forward.
Yeah, like Fred Cox did here for many, many years. But the point is, the idea that anyone then would even come close to attempting a 60-yard field goal was unheard of. Mm-hmm. You just didn't have kickers like that.
And now there's a football league where you can get 4 points for kicking it over 60 yards and in.
There is?
Yes. That alternative, what is it, the UFL or whatever the alternative? Yeah, I brought up the story the other day.
So they
have a rule where if you kick a field goal over 60 yards, you get 4 points.
That's the equivalent of the Savannah Bananas and kind of like the scoring system, but that's okay. But yeah, we'll take them. We don't have to worry about them.
Twins, they have their Field of Dreams game today.
Yeah,
in Iowa versus the Philadelphia Phillies, and a little over an hour ago, they activated Byron Buxton from the 10-day injured list. I have 2 questions for you. One,
yes, sir.
How can you still be on the 10-day injured list when that was 16 days ago? Answer that for me. And then 2, the impact of Byron Buxton on this offense, which they didn't struggle yesterday, but they've been struggling in the last 2 weeks or so.
Absolutely need him. He's been having a terrific year, and I know he's had that, the hip thing and everything. I know more importantly than Byron Buxton getting back in the lineup, but I saw that a couple of guys who were there said the tarp is off. They had some rain concerns in Iowa. Yeah. So the game is definitely on for tonight against
I'm a big tarps off guy.
Tarps off guy. That's a new big thing at all the stadiums. Kids are taking their shirts off, right? That's the big
Let them breathe. Let them breathe.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jake Middleton with the Wild last year. We did the interviews with
That's
tarps
right.
off. Yeah.
That's right. So, Buxton is just hope he can stay in the lineup now. It's been a nagging thing. It hasn't been thankfully a really serious injury, but it's been enough to derail him at a couple different times. And we all know when he's on, he makes that entire lineup go. And Crease, and I was going to add to your conversation about relating exactly how many fans feel, and I've certainly voiced my opinion enough on this show about the ownership, and I do think that in Common of all people has made. The switch at the Polad name going from one Polad to the other has changed the dynamics a little bit on what the team did, especially during the trading deadline, and adding some actual pitchers who can help them out in the bullpen. I still, whether they can sneak in and get a wild card remains to be seen, or we potentially even win the division. I think there's probably a 99% chance we're going to have a lockout. And it's interesting, I heard a little birdie tell me the other day about how this ownership situation is going to potentially lay out in the future. And I keep hearing Craig Leopold's name.
The Twins ownership?
Yeah.
Well, and Leopold is a minority.
He is, but I'm taking even more of a impact on this.
That would be great.
Now we're talking.
I don't know how deep Leopold's pockets are, but I do know he has the mentality of let's go out and win. Let's go spend money to win.
So
not that he's going to get you to Dodgers level, but
and no one expects that here.
No, of course not. But it's I know some of the minority, the newer owners that got in there who would like to remain anonymous, so they'll remain anonymous.
I wouldn't want to be associated with the Polad either. I understand.
But it's the idea that if they can get some new blood, this is going to happen. Baseball, it has to happen.
Yeah.
And also, it's not just a matter of having teams like the Dodgers and the Yankees reducing payroll, but it's forcing the teams like the Twins and others to lift their payroll. Pittsburgh, other teams like that. And I think we're heading towards that. As sad, as tough as that is to say. We had the strike in '94, but if it produces a more viable product straight across the board, then everyone will win. Listen, the Dodgers aren't a shoo-in about anything, even with their payroll. They just increase their odds.
Yeah,
so it seems like every year they're going to be there, and if Milwaukee. I watched the Twins Milwaukee series over the weekend. very entertaining series. The Twins played them tough. The Brewers, they're selling out every game. I mean, what a great time to be a Milwaukee Brewer fan. Obviously, the Cubs and the White Sox are tearing up Chicago right now. The White Sox have the Pope on their side, for crying out loud. I don't know if you saw that. They had the Pope hat the other night. And, I
like that they did the Peace Be With You at like the fifth inning. That's genius.
That's good for,
these are the things I miss, though. And it's Target Field in the summer when it's
right.
full. And if the Twins aren't, contending for the World Series, that's fine, okay? If they're trying is what I care about. And it's not, I don't think anyone has ever expected this market to try and spend like New York or Los Angeles or any of the huge markets. But when you, after the most successful season in a long, long time,
winning a series,
you win a series, and of course the bar was set very low by it being that. But remember how fun that was?
Oh, it was
the environment around the team.
And they had everyone on their side.
Everyone on their side.
Yes.
And then you cut payroll like that. So, like right now with the current setup of MLB, I understand to an extent why the Pohlads are doing what they're doing, because there really is no chance to honestly compete with the big teams. But they have no credibility because of what they've done in the past. And so my hope is with this new agreement that it does make it more equitable, where it's, some more revenue sharing, make it more like the NFL, but there has to be a floor. There has to be a floor.
There's a lot of complexities to it, because I don't know how they're going to handle the guaranteed contracts that a lot of these teams have that go on for next year with especially the big market teams. But
it's a different animal.
They have to figure it out.
They're at Field of Dreams for Creasel. Field of Dreams is U.S. Bank Stadium. That's where we're preparing. We're at Twin Cities Orthopedic Performance Center right now. They're going through a walkthrough. They will practice right after the crowd's starting to build up as well. Mark Rosen, John Creasel, Brandon Molesky, one final longer segment next right here on the Tennafitzgerald.
Minnesota Vikings training camp coverage live from TCO Performance Center in Eagan on The Fan.
Our iHeartRadio.
The Fan welcomes some great shows to Grand Casino Arena this year, including Journey on October 4th, Smashing Pumpkins October 13th. Tickets are on sale now. Get complete details on all of our upcoming shows on the concert page, KFAN.com. Keep your calendar.
Hey, final segment of the Tennafitzgerald. John Creasel has been the co-host today, which I greatly appreciate, because the Tennafitzgerald has to handle a lot of adversity. There's a lot of rough waters out there, and nobody can help with that adversity better than John Creasel. If you want to hear John talk about handling adversity, where could they go?
You could go to johncreasel.com. Find all my booking information, my demo reel, and put in a request to have me share my story with your group.
You're booked pretty much through 2029, though, I think.
No, we're getting into 2027 pretty decent.
That's good.
But there is still availability. I don't want to scare people off, Mark. They still can go to johncreasel.com.
That is the voice of Mark Rosen as well. Creasel, I need you to give me a number between 70 and 99 or 0 through 20. A number in those ranges.
Goodness, what is this? The price
Let's go 78.
And then I need to give me a sport. Basketball, hockey, baseball, football.
Football.
Go ahead, Brett.
It's time now for Random Reminiscing with Rosen.
We're going to do some random reminiscing with Mark Rosen, and today we're going to reminisce about the 1978 Minnesota Vikings.
Can I Google it?
Creasel, you and I were not alive, so we're not going to be
I was minus 3 years old. Minus 3.
I was minus 1 and change. They went 8-7-1 that year and won.
Typical.
They won the NFC Central, though, at 8-7-1. Bud Grant was your head coach.
78 we're talking now?
1978. Let's see. Looks like they lost first round of the playoffs to the Los Angeles Rams. They lost 34-10.
Oh, boy.
Back when they had playoff games in December. It was December 31st. Can you tell me much about, Fran Tarkenton, your starting quarterback.
That was near the end of his career.
He led the league in passing yards, completions, and attempts, and yards per game. Your running back, Chuck Foreman, 237 attempts, 749 yards, 5 touchdowns. Sammy White and Ahmad Rashad, your wide receivers. It looks like Stu White was a tight end on that team.
That was 2 years removed from their last Super Bowl.
That was 2 years removed? Okay.
Yeah, 76 was it. So, I'm saying they were getting a little. Fran certainly was getting a little longer in the tooth, and I don't remember the defensive guys in particular.
It's like Matt Blair, Bobby Bryant had 7 interceptions.
Yeah,
Nate Wright had 5 interceptions. Jim Marshall.
Yeah, how many guys?
A lot of names on that team, man. But tail end of the career.
Well, again, they didn't. Again, without free agency, you kind of knew what you were going to get, and it was a year-by-year thing. I don't remember any specifics about that. And you just said their
looks like Carl Aller just started 7 of 14 games, so maybe he was towards the tail end.
I think. I don't know when they drafted Randy Holloway. He was a big.
Who?
Randy Holloway was a very gregarious defensive end they drafted out of Pittsburgh. I think he was a first-round pick. And it seemed to me that it was right around that time, but I don't remember anything specific.
It didn't pan out?
Yeah, he had his moments. He had his moments. I mean, Doug Martin was a really good defensive tackle. This is before they got, the years with later in the 80s when Bernsey, that year that they almost.
They did draft Randy Holloway that year.
Oh, wow, look at this!
First round pick. Look at you you still got it.
Still got it. When they had when Millard. Going back to, I wish you had picked 84, but it's a lot of fun for me to talk about the Steckel year. But understanding that Keith Millard decided to go play in the United States Football League instead of with the Vikings.
Sure.
I had started my show with Rashad in 1980 after the Hail Mary with Cleveland. That's kind of when we started the Sunday night.
Kramer to him won in Cleveland, right?
Yeah, and the play before that, the hook and ladder with Ted Braun and the late, great Joe Sensor. That was a play that set up the Hail Mary to Ahmad. That was in 1980.
So for awards and records that year, quarterback Fran Tarkenton threw 32 interceptions on the season.
Wow, we were just
surpassing his own franchise record of 25 set in 1962. 32.
Fran.
And then how about this? I had heard of this guy, but apparently I didn't know how good he was. Ricky Young, running back, led the league with 88 receptions. A Vikings single season. That's a lot of receptions for a running back, especially back then.
Yes. I just saw Ricky 2 weeks ago. They had a reunion down in Mankato. A lot of the vets went down there to kind of reminisce about what it was like. Even though Gage Hall's no longer there, but we all gathered at Jake's Pizza, thanks to Bob Hagan, and made that happen. And I sat next to
Jake's Pizza sounds great right now.
Jake's Pizza's the best. Ricky, I think we commiserated because I think he's having a knee replacement as well. But Ricky was a terrific pass catcher. He and Teddy Braun in that backfield. Ricky was very, very good with Fran and then others as well. But
yeah, so now that's a requirement for almost every good running back in the NFL. They have to be able to be a good receiver.
There aren't many Herschel Walker. The Herschel Walker trade, which we all know about.
Other than Derrick Henry. You got to be at a Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that's true.
Adrian also.
Adrian did not have good hands.
No.
And that's the thing about, if you have a running back with that kind of skill set, it doesn't really matter.
Although his first touchdown was a reception.
Think about
against
it.
Atlanta.
Yeah. I wish I could help you a little bit more, but I came up with a couple of names.
That's solid, though.
Remember Randy Holloway won.
Yeah, you got the Holloway. The only other two things I'm going to mention is it was their 10th appearance in the playoffs in 11 years.
Ooh.
I was love that.
After the season, Fran Tarkenton retired.
That was That did it. Then I thought I was working in the CBS. I was like a spotter for him. If you could look it up. He broke his leg at Met Stadium.
Ow.
Who did?
Fran.
Oh.
He got crunched.
Like lower?
Yeah, like somebody broke his leg. And I thought that was the end of his career. Because if you said that was his last year, I remember being in the booth and I was spotting it. I was when they had trying to help out. They had the network.
Fractured fibula in his right leg.
Yeah. It's a lower leg.
And he had a broken right thumb.
Yeah. So, that was
November 13, 1977.
That was 77?
Yes. November of 77. He was trapped.
He came back and played in 78? Wow. Yeah, I remember that play.
His ankle locked underneath him as he went down, forced him to be carried off the field.
Right.
I'm sure the fields weren't in great shape back then.
Well, again, Met Stadium was, the Twins played there, then they had, had the dirt until the Twins were done, and they put the sod on top of it, and both teams were on the same sideline. It was, think about how crazy that was.
The only other thing I'm looking at is they had 12 rounds in the draft back then. So they drafted 12 rounds of players. You did mention Randy Holloway went first in the 21st. I don't know who this guy is, but I love his name. And I'm naming my next dog after this guy. Whip Walton. linebacker, San Diego State. What a great name.
He was a Viking?
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
They also drafted a place kicker in the 8th round. They drafted a punter in the 9th round. And Jeff Morrow, offensive tackle out of Minnesota, they drafted in the 12th round.
Wow, 12th round pick. Jeez. Oh, it's like being Johnny Randall was a free agent. We've had a bunch of free agents that ended up in this case, a couple of them ended up in Hall of Fame. But you don't hear about 12th round. If you get past the 3rd round now and you make the team, that's what we talk about. Looking at the young players on the Vikings right now, and you think how much playing time is Jeff Golday going to get, and other than maybe special teams and kind of working into a spot on Brian Flores' defense.
All right, that's it for reminiscing with Rosa. Creasel, you picked one that you and I couldn't even join in and help on, but we learned something today.
I didn't know what it was, so I was,
we learned about the 1970 Minnesota Vikings.
I don't remember much about it.
Lynx win again last night. A little dicier, though. They beat the Portland Fire 85-81. At one point, they led by 29 points. The Fire rallied to get it within 1 late in that game. Portland nearly pulled off the largest comeback in WNBA history, but Kayla McBride with a couple late steals to help the Lynx hold off the Portland Fire, and they're now 28-7 on the season.
I would think after the weekend they had here in particular, those back-to-back games and the very emotional wins they had. Cheryl's got to do a hell of a coaching job to kind of keep them motivated when you go out to Portland or something and you're playing another game. When the playoffs are on the horizon and you're kind of you're going to end up with the number 1 seed. But kudos to them, a 29-point lead that they took their foot off the gas. Obviously,
got down to 1.
And but they managed. They know how to finish.
And Portland's not a great team.
No, but good for the Portland fans that went there. At least they were entertaining.
Are you guys the type that get very excited about the Wolves' social media photos of them in France hanging out with Rudy Gobert?
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think it's cool. Yeah, I mean, that team chemistry, those are such small rosters that it helps when everyone gets along. They like each other. I thought that was great.
Well, they actually went to Rudy's home, and pretty much all full participation. That wasn't generated by the team; it was generated by the players. And they, if Ant picked up the tab or whoever did, it can't hurt. I mean, you can't say, "Well, yeah," it's like when the Vikings they do these bonding experiences. It's going to translate to beating out Oklahoma City or San Antonio. No, of course it doesn't mean that. But I think it's important.
That's why Creasel and I had a little tension today. I'm a little bitter he didn't invite me to Switzerland.
Yeah, really.
I wanted to go to Switzerland with him, and he didn't ask me. I met him down in Disney World last spring, and I thought we'd bond and gain a friendship after that, and he
didn't happen.
No, he doesn't call me anymore.
Yeah. I don't know what kind. I mean, look at the videos; look pretty cool. I don't know who's shooting it for Rudy, but they look rather professional.
I'm sure they hired someone.
They did. Ant's not taking it with his phone.
Right.
Although what do you call the Eiffel Tower? You call it the Disney World or something. But
it's a good line.
It is. It's not bad. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, they're pretty well set, and it doesn't hurt to have their own thing of this is how we're going to play together. And I'm sure they got enough leaders, and Rudy's one of them, to say this is how we want to get things done this year. So yeah, doesn't hurt. Not a bad place to hang out for a week and a half.
Creasel, while we're on it, Disney World Park Power Rankings. Go.
Magic Kingdom 1.
Yep.
I agree. Epcot 2.
Okay.
I would say probably Hollywood 3, but it's not a fair comparison because when we were there, Animal Kingdom was under tons of construction. I like Animal Kingdom. It's cool. Hollywood Studios, with a 7-year-old, there's only a few things that are cool for her. Some of the stuff is too big. But I would say Hollywood Studios, then Animal Kingdom currently. What are yours?
I'm definitely Magic Kingdom number 1.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I might be in the minority here. I might get some hate online for this. I'm not a big Epcot guy.
You don't like to travel the world without leaving? I like that.
I was there years ago, so I was
couple things on Epcot, okay? One, I don't drink.
Yeah.
Right, which, it's a great adult place to go drink. It
is.
I also don't have the best palate for international foods.
Sure.
Okay? And then every time I'm there, there's just no breeze or wind there. I feel like every time I'm there, it feels hot. I feel like I'm sweating. It's a long walk. Now they've added some rides that I now liked better than the last time I went to Epcot. But I don't know. I would probably put Epcot last on my list. I'd probably go Hollywood Studios number 2. That's a little smaller, and then Animal Kingdom number 3.
Got it.
Harry Potter World.
Yes.
Universal. I haven't been there.
I haven't either. And, I just love Disney so much. It's tough to. We always talk like, hey, maybe we'll go to Universal or Busch Gardens or one of those.
Sure.
And then we just, once we plan it, we're like, no, Disney.
It's funny. I was watching. We all catch things on social media. The other day they had the 33rd anniversary of the opening of Mall of America. And you see the video, of course, nobody has a cell phone, and the lines in the food court run forever. The lines for the little roller coaster and the water ride, whatever. Were long.
The log flume,
The log flume.
That's when it was Knott's Camp Snoopy.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. But, I mean, think about that. I remember that night we did a show on Channel 4 with the grand opening. I was like the co-host along with, I can't remember who it was. But you look at that video and going, what the hell? Where did the time?
Yeah.
And people now weren't even born when they...
Well, just seeing the cars going to the parking lot.
Yeah.
The cars look back then. I'm like, but I don't remember looking that old when I was that age. Like
I also remember people saying, this ain't going to work. This isn't going to last.
And look at it now. They've updated it so much. They've stayed with the times. It's
obviously
awesome.
They've lost some of the big companies that were there at the beginning, but, man, it's still a place to go. And it's right here in our backyard.
I still feel like we need to get more touristy things in Minnesota. Like, that's like all we have for people to come in. And no one's coming from out of town just to go to MOA, are they?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, they are. I mean,
they are. For MOA.
For tax purposes?
Yeah.
But I believe that has, I forget the...
We need some more tourist stops
You
around
need to look
here.
up
Let's
the
come up with
numbers.
some stuff.
Yes, we are the ones. We will brainstorm.
Okay.
Booth at KFAN.com.
Rosen will finance it for us.
Exactly. There's a great Bob Lurtsema over there signing some autographs,
Ding.
seeing a lot of people.
You mentioned Wolves. I asked Creasel earlier. You guys can both talk about this.
Right.
It's the cliche question we ask all the time, but I think it's a tough one to answer, so we're going to do it. Wolves or Wild? Who's more likely to win a championship this year?
Well, I agree with John in the context that I think the Wild, only because the NHL is so wide open all the time. And, it's just, I know we complain about, the Wild have to play Colorado, then they have to play Dallas. So what? I mean, I still think they have an opportunity.
Well, I mean, Wolves now have to do that with San Antonio and OKC, so it's not much different anymore.
But I think that it's just, I'm not saying it's an easier road. I think they're more manageable. It wouldn't be quite as far-fetched.
They're easier to get out of the first round.
Yes, exactly.
Wild to have a tougher first-round match.
And if you get hot at the right time, and we could argue that if they hang on and don't blow that game against Colorado, we saw what happened to Colorado after
Cale
that.
McCarr was hurt.
Right?
He might not have been available the rest of the series.
Yeah,
they might have won that series. You never know, but that's what I agree with you, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can make arguments both ways, 100%, because I think the Wolves are capable of, we don't know what this team is going to look like with the chemistry with LaMelo, and I think people are pretty excited to see this with Ant and how they're going to roll with a true point guard who can shoot the way he can shoot and distribute the ball, but if he can keep himself from getting hurt, that's a big thing too with his durability.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
We're in a good predicament having the Wild and the Wolves obviously making the playoffs on a regular basis, and now hopefully
superstars. I mean, we got superstars. That's the thing.
They both can be contenders. They both
Minnesota's success, lack of success in postseason with the players, the top echelon players that each team has on their team. I mean, I'm throwing Buxton in there with the Twins, and he's been hurt. I wouldn't put him in the same category as some of the other teams, but we got looking around the Vikings right now in particular. We got arguably the best receiver in pro football here, and Edwards and Kaprizov. Quinn Hughes is top 3 defensemen.
Stud.
I mean, it's just all we got to do is win one of them.
And the Lynx have studs too.
Well, they absolutely do. They ever?
And the Frosts have Taylor Heise. So we're just loaded with superstars. I couldn't tell you about the Vixen. I don't know what their star power is.
No, can't either. No.
Ben Johnson, head coach of the Bears, wants their goal is to be the highest scoring offense in the history of the National Football League. Do you think they can accomplish that?
Tell him to give Brian Billick a call and ask him about the '98 team and see how that worked out. And what Ben can do to match that with the talent that team had. You know, and I listen. Ben likes to talk, and he likes to put the. No, I don't. The Bears don't have anywhere. I mean, they got talent. They don't have anywhere near the talent.
I mean, I could see them being a top 5 offense this year.
Yeah,
I mean, that is not.
They could.
Caleb takes another big step and does, but yeah, I don't think that they don't have the talent. They didn't have a Moss and a Carter and a Jake Reed and a Robert Smith and
that was absurd. That team was just
line
absurd.
that they had, that was. Vikings just toyed with people most
But
of the
they
time.
also did that with a backup quarterback that year.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue like Caleb Williams has a higher ceiling than the Vikings quarterbacks that season.
Well, you could.
He just doesn't have a Randy Moss to just chuck the ball to.
No, I mean, he's just a different quarterback, too. I mean, he's a different style. And but yeah, Caleb's I love watching him. He's a thrill a minute.
He can be so good. And then the next play, though, it looks like he's never played the sport his whole life.
Right.
He will make such a mind-blowingly bad decision. That's the one thing that I think now that they gave him an offensive line and he's with Ben Johnson, I think this year is going to be really good for him. But I don't think they're winning the division this year.
This was supposed to be the day I had heard that Indiana was going to put the final stamp of approval on the Bears moving there. Yeah, there was a lot of chit-chat about that among the players, and that they were going to...
The Indiana Bears.
Yeah, actually take the name.
Oh, they're going to take the name, too?
That would
be
catastrophic.
Yeah. Oh, boy. I wouldn't do that.
No, that's not cool.
No, that would
I know they're trying to leverage that, but go talk to your guy Kevin Warren and say, don't do that.
No,
yeah, then is the city of Chicago going to send a cease and desist? If they keep it like it's Jaden Daniels' number at
They'll
LSU?
move to Indiana, then the next expansion franchise will be in Chicago.
Yeah.
But Illinois, it's not. They're not moving the needle at all. It look like it's almost kind of a done deal in Indiana. So for the Bears,
well, they just financially that state they can't afford it. It's so mismanaged that. Of course, it's not going to happen there, so it has to be Indiana. How can you call them the Indiana Bears?
Well, first of all, they already have a team in Indiana.
They do.